Ho, 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 jingle bells, wreck my hell. We are back, Skull Hunter Podcast. I would go like pew, 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 but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm your host, Jordan, and joined us today, we have some lovely little elves here today. We have Joseph, everybody. Say hi, Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
Thank you. And then we also got...
I didn't even...
And Charles, say hi to everyone.
Hi, guys.
And with we got... This is it. This is Skull Hunter Podcast. And guys, Anchor... Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. You'll hear about him soon. We're going to try to bring him up again live. If not, guess you're going to see a clip in. So how's my boys doing? How are you doing, Joseph? Let's talk about you, Joseph. How are you doing?
I want to take a moment to respond to the piece of shit that they gave us the negative feedback. But, well, you guys need to do your research. Like, yeah, because I really look to the Skull Hunter podcast to be my absolute source for news. Like, okay.
We're not
What's funny to me is like if something is free, people won't stop complaining about it.
Yeah.
Expecting to be better and better and better. But this is also probably somebody who buys like Assassin's Creed every year. It gets to the point where Assassin's Creed, they don't even finish rendering the characters' faces, and it's just like, oh, well, it's supposed to do Assassin's Creed, so obviously it's the best game ever.
Valhalla sucked.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
So, you're a piece of garbage, but thanks for listening.
Yeah, real fast, guys. So we got some hate comments, mostly one that stood out. We're not going to call any names here, but so I would like to sit there and say this for the whole entire podcast is that we are not 100% news media podcast. If that's what you're looking for, there are other great ones out there who does a better job, gets into the fine details, and has all the links, everything else. They have it for you. We want to put a smile on your face. We want to talk about what's going on in the world. But when it's all said and done, do we look serious? Why would you go to us for news?
For Christ's sake.
This guy's wearing a Marvel shirt. This guy's wearing a AEW shirt. And I'm wearing a suit. Like, don't come to us for news and expect it to be 100%. Like,
watch the quartering if you want that shit.
Yeah, listen to that.
The quartering is good.
Yeah. If you want news on YouTubers, go to Ian and Samir, or I forgot if that's their name. Go to them. They do a bunch of stuff on YouTube. They're good friends with Mr. Beast. If you want to hear stuff about YouTubers, go there. If you want to hear day-to-day life and politics, go to Joe Rogan. Like, there's other podcasts out there.
Yeah. We use the news articles as a way to launch off to have conversations. Yeah. And dig deeper into the issues. And I mean, I it's like my mission to derail the podcast as quickly and as efficiently.
You do a great job. I mean, already.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So
pulling off random ass Nerf guns.
Yeah, and see, that wouldn't be professional. So this is what we do. So if you have any issues with that, I highly recommend going to another podcast. But we're not going to stop doing what we do. We're not going to stop.
No, we're going to double down.
Yeah,
like I love hearing this feedback because it's just like, okay, well now we need to make sure that more people like this don't listen to our show because we don't want the wrong.
We want to narrow our audience in.
Yeah,
you know the cone. We want to be the tip of the cone. We don't want to be the whole thing.
You want a niche into your niche into your niche.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. So now we got that out of the way.
Shaft or the freaking bowels.
Yeah, we're like the shaft in the bowl. Ooh, I love shafts. That didn't come out right. Hey, Joseph, but besides all that, how are you doing? How was your week?
Not bad. I did my first stream last week.
Yeah,
I did it on D Live. A couple of the guys from my Battle Legion clan came to hang out and chat, and it felt great. It felt natural. All of the things that I've been saying to myself in my head while I play the game, I got to say like out loud.
Good.
Unfortunately, the emulator that I use to play the game on my computer stopped working. So I'm like, oh no, 2 weeks in and my career's already ruined. But streaming is something that like has always been on the periphery. You guys know I've been on. I didn't hear what you said, Charles.
Sorry.
No, I just want to hear what you said.
I said in the arms of an angel.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I just momentum.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So it's always been on the periphery. I did Arth's stream for like 2 years worth. It was about 6 years worth of agony, and I'm kidding. It
Love
was
you,
like
Arth.
90% fun, 10% agony. Uh,
Only when you were
and
playing Halo
and I was
Legendary.
just like, man,
Yeah.
I just gotta, I just really want to do this, and it's nice to feel like I can do this, and I don't care if it turns into a career thing, don't care if I don't make any money off of it. I just needed an outlet to just like do my thing and start building my own tribe,
Hmm.
little by little. So yeah, so that was a highlight. Um, Other than that, y'all know that I work for Debutify, which helps
Hmm.
people by building a great Shopify template. We provide one of the best ones in the business. Um, and I wanted to share this because I think this is an interesting thought process for people. But I have a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
My mom had a lot of anxiety. My dad had a lot of anxiety, and both of their anxiety merged and created Joseph. So
Yes.
it's like spider sense, except I'm not right. Uh,
I know how it is with anxiety. I deal with it.
Yeah, and I think most of us do, and I think it's a unique challenge for millennials, and I guess like the tail end of Generation X, which I think were before millennials, and
Hmm.
definitely something that I think Gen Zs should be dealing with, and whatever generation before that. And the reason why is because life is just longer now,
Yeah.
and people can, at one point, if a guy makes it to 30 years old, who's already got like 12 kids and an ox. It's like, all right, well, the bubonic plague is coming in any minute now. Lord, take me.
How do you want to know how much money that guy freaking with 12 kids will be getting back for taxes?
I know, right? Adjusted for inflation, that ox. Oh, talking about a little bull market. Anyways, and so I was having a problem with work because there can be anxiety involved in our jobs. It's unfortunate, but it's there.
Yeah.
And what was happening was I was always like wrestling between doing things that are fun and work, which is already, work, but having to deal with anxiety while working was the problem. And I noticed that I was actually too free. And what I mean by that is if I didn't set specific times, if I didn't actually have like shifts, like raw, like 10 to 1, 2 to 6 shifts, then I was constantly negotiating with myself to decide, should I work or should I play this game? And the game wins constantly. YouTube
Hmm.
wins constantly because it's fun and it's rewarding and it's easy. It just doesn't make any money.
Yeah.
So there was a rare case where I realized that like having a limitation is actually going to be better for me. So um, I share this because I think a lot of people are going to try to have to deal with these scenarios and they're not really sure what the solution is to it. But I was just hoping that by putting this out into the ether, somebody in their situation might find a unique solution to that problem. So
Yeah.
Godspeed.
I just know that a lot of people had to deal with really bad anxiety during the
Hmm.
freaking lot when we were all stuck in our houses last year.
But yeah,
So,
because everybody thought we were going to
yeah.
die, right? Nobody knows what to expect from from this virus. We were like, man, this shit's serious.
It was a lot to deal with for everyone, and now we have the holidays. The virus is still a thing, so I mean,
But at
anxieties
least
and
we can actually
depressions are
do
high.
shit now.
We can do stuff as long as you're safe out there as best as possible. I mean, so I
At this
mean, yeah,
point, even though it's sorry, at this point, even though it's still around, it's still a major problem. It's freaking at least things are at least for the kind of freaking back to how it was before all this freaking insanity has happened.
hmm
Well, you don't need to listen to an actual news podcast to tell you this, because chances are they might not tell you this. But this virus is endemic. If you haven't heard that word yet, you're going to hear it. It's going to be like the flu. We're just going to have to live with it, and we're just going to have to deal with it.
Yep.
yeah. It's just one of those things. So Joseph, what was you getting to with how everyone's dealing with anxieties? Like, were you talking about there's a way to kind of get past it, or
Uh, I wish. I mean, there are little things that you can do that will add up. So
Mhm.
sleep, exercise, diet, um, responsible drug use, um,
Having a hobby that you
all
like.
yeah,
all
good
of those little
hobbies.
things. Yeah. having things to look forward to, like having things to be excited about, like this podcast, like doing a stream, having events, something to be optimistic about.
Spending time with somebody that you love.
Yeah, being with loved ones. All of these little things add up. But I think the thing is that no matter what situation a person is in, and the anxiety will just find a new way to manifest. Because, and this is credit to a YouTube video that I'd seen. I'll have to find it to you guys so I can link it afterwards. But he said that as you get older, that fear that we feel as children, which is very simple, like I'm afraid to go to school, or I'm afraid to do this, or I'm afraid to go to the dentist.
My dad
The
abandoned
fear
me.
always comes with us. It takes on a new, more nuanced shape. So my final like resolution to this is that we have to find ways to just work through the anxiety.
Yeah. 100%.
And to not get into the habit of avoiding it by doing something easy, because that whatever it is that you're avoiding is going to be waiting for you, and it's probably going to get worse adjusted for inflation.
Most of this stems from because I'm always afraid of upsetting people, and I try not to. That's why sometimes I'm always afraid that if I freaking go overboard with my freaking tirades, or if I do something with me and Jordan playing something together, I'm afraid I'll upset everybody.
You're a natural born Canadian.
I was gonna make that joke too, but I didn't want to offend anyone, so I'm happy you went that mile.
This is a relevant story. This will be interesting. But I took driving lessons. Not that I wanted to. My dad, which by the way, this will come back full circle when we talk about the Tesla thing. But one of the videos that they'd shown, because we're in class and they had to show these videos about like different driver personas that you don't want to be, and one of them was this old lady that was on the road, and she's going slower than everybody else. She's like, I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to put other people in danger. Well, what she didn't realize is that she was actually being over careful, and that you can actually be too cautious.
Yep.
And that can actually be dangerous in its own way. So, life is a series of calculated risks. So you do have to get more into that mindset of like everything that I do is a risk. Not doing something is also a risk. And sometimes it's actually worse to not do something. Sometimes it's worse to be like constantly concerned and be like, oh, am I saying the wrong thing? Or am I doing this? Or am I doing that? And you find that you've actually not given something its due. Like if you're afraid to give somebody criticism, and then they keep doing the thing, and then it gets worse, and then 10 years later it's like, yeah, so you've been doing that for 10 years. Like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I didn't want to upset you. Well, now I'm 10 years more upset, adjusted for inflation. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Like there are definitely in the driving side. Like I don't have my license yet, and I don't plan on getting it anytime at this moment. But when it's all said and done, you can be too cautious, and you could be not caring. But a lot of that has to do with the rope back to the anxiety side. Is you're just afraid to mess up. You're afraid to endanger somebody else. But that will cause like you over there driving, get to a red light, and just slam on your brakes. Car hits you in the back. Baby flies out of the seat, goes through the windshield. Boom. Now you're a murderer, you son of a bitch. I mean, it's what's going to happen. So, I mean, when it comes to anxieties, do things you like. Do things you like. Let yourself open up. Like Joseph, as mentioned, he's now streaming. He actually gets to have his opinions out there now. And it's great. And we'll link his D Live in the description down below if anyone wants to go and check him out on Wednesdays.
That's what I like when the couple of times I've done a live stream, because those were actually kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
And that's why whenever anybody who watches like joins like any of his streams that I was a part of on like Facebook or YouTube, when you hear me freaking flipping out because of something, or because somebody's being a douchebag in Call of Duty, freaking, that's me basically just being me.
Yeah, demonetization is great. You're all good. But yeah, I mean, if you deal with anxieties, do the things that make you happy. Like we're doing this podcast because it makes us happy, and we don't care about the haters. So middle finger to you guys.
I care deeply about the haters.
Oh, I know you care deeply about them. You hope their dad never comes back, and I appreciate that. But you know what? Everyone has to come back from getting milk sometime. It might be expired, but they'll come back.
I remember when I've been on the internet my whole life, and I was a hater. When I was 8 years old.
Yeah, I know. Why would you treat me like that?
Know that.
I'm your father.
Oh, you're back from the convenience store.
I'm back. Not coming back, but I'm back. We got a little off topic, but this is Joseph's plan. His plan is to get us off topic. So I want to hear from you, Charles. How's your week been?
My week's been alright. This past Sunday I went to do Christmas pictures with my family. Freaking 9 o'clock in the morning. We all wear matching Christmas outfits. And it was freaking cold as hell too.
If Charles sends me the photo, watch the video podcast because it's gonna appear right over his face right now. If he sends me the photos,
I mean, I have a picture of what I looked like, but I'm not freaking sharing it with you guys.
and that's how he never gets welcome back to the Skull Hunter podcast. Everybody, I'm joking. Well, that's cool. So what else happened?
2 down, only 1 to go.
Just been doing my freaking thing with YouTube and everything. Watched the possibly last pay-per-view Ring of Honor I'll ever freaking do this past Saturday. Probably gonna regret spending money on that, but it's whatever. I'll figure it out. And also been geeking out because of freaking all the freaking Halo weapons that are in Destiny 2 now. Thanks, Bungie.
See, Bungie's nice from time to time. They're nice. They give us a little sprinkles of goodness in there.
Yeah, they bounce back.
they definitely. I don't say bounce back. I would say they come back.
The shit that's going on with them
Well, just because it's a Bungie, right? So like.
I know. I was trying to destroy your joke.
Got it.
The shit that's going on with them right now, hopefully they'll be able to come out of this. Hopefully they'll be better off than freaking Activision Blizzard.
Anyone's better off than Activision. Anyone's better off.
That piece of garbage you gave us our review. He's better than Activision Blizzard. That's a low bar.
Oh, not wrong. But real fast to kind of keep us on track. I'm doing great. If you guys haven't already seen it, 24-hour video went out. Wasn't my greatest success, but it's also not going to put me down too far because we are posting another video here coming up real soon on Skull Hunter Games. It's going to be Dead by Daylight Christmas. So if you're into that, make sure to watch. Links are down in the descriptions for all of our socials. But if you're watching the video podcast, you'll see a poster behind Charles, and it is a poster of Halo Infinite. Is it worth paying $60 for Halo Infinite? Is it really worth it? Well, I want to sit there and be the one to tell you guys before Charles threatens you with his big, throbbing, thick weapons. I want to sit there and let you guys know I would say it's worth it. If Halo is something that you always like to play, you should get it. It's really good, and I will give you guys the key hint. It's free if you have Game Pass. People, they did not make it public, but if you just look on it, it is free if you have Game Pass. Go on to the game itself, and then when it goes to the install list, make sure you hit the campaign, install it for free. You don't have to spend $60 on it if you have Game Pass. You can install it there, PC and Xbox. Go ahead. What's up?
You lose access to it if you stop doing Game Pass?
Yes. That's how all that works. You would lose access to it if you stop Game Pass.
Okay, well in that case, Halo can D's nuts. Sorry, I subscribed for a year for PSN for the same thing because I wanted to play a Bloodborne with my friends, and well, that has that ship sailed. I'll tell you what. And the whole I can't own my game afterwards. It just completely rubs me the wrong way. Give me less games, or even be like, once a month, this is the game. You either like it or you don't, but this is what you're getting. I will take that as long as I can keep it. But the fact that I can't keep the games afterwards, it just rubs me the wrong way. Okay.
Well, that's understandable, but you can get monthly passes for like $10 a month for that. So if that was ever in your interest, you could do that, or you could just go to your local GameStop and buy it for $60. I'm saying that because I want to give GameStop some credit. Get me on your stocks. But I want to sit there and bring it up because the gameplay has been out. If you want to see it, there's a bunch of people who did amazing videos on it without giving you spoilers. So if you are interested in playing it, I'll try to have one of their videos linked in the description below, right under the title. So with the campaign, let's talk about it for a second. The campaign is an open world concept. So Halo's campaign's open world a little bit, so they give you a little more freedom to go check out. There's a lot more Easter eggs in there than what there was in Halo 3, and that should say something. They made it to where you can take your time. According to everyone, the beginning's high pace. It's out there. It's in the action. Kind of reminds you of Halo 1 on the ship. If you haven't played that, big spoiler alert. you're on a ship in Halo 1 and it gets crazy real fast. So they kind of have that same mentality for Halo Infinite, but it's so much more. It's so much impact at the immediate, and then it slows down. It's kind of like a good movie. It's boom, 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 ease, 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 boom, boom, boom. So if that's something you're interested in, then Halo is definitely your go-to. Now, if you don't like the idea of open world concepts or anywhere like you decide a little bit, this game could still be for you because Halo forces you to go on further and get through the game. Like, look at Borderlands for an example. Look at Destiny, where you have a little bit of that open world concept, but it's not open either. And I'm saying open world concept. It's not a situation you're playing with 8,000 other Master Chiefs. It's just you in a world. You're driving around on a Warthog. It gives you more availability to explore without having to be mission on mission on mission on mission. So
With Infinite, it's like the Shadow of Mordor games, where you have to claim territory and while also completing the story missions.
Yeah, exactly. So now for this costing $60, what do you guys think about if you played Halo or never played Halo? Do you think you would be willing to play this game no matter what though? So if you're a guy, let's say you never played Halo before, would you get the game?
I never played Halo before.
Let's say you never played Halo before. You don't know the experience. Would this seem like something you would try?
That's a really good question.
Because that's when it's all said. If we wanted that whole, it's Halo, guys, let's play. We already know that's gonna overwhelm all the people. But if you never played Halo before, would you actually go out and pay $60 for this game that looks like a Destiny knockoff? Now, this is just saying if you've never seen, never played, never watched Red vs. Blue, like you've never sat there and did anything with Halo before, and you saw this on the shelf, like, and you saw a preview for it, like, do you think you would actually play it? And this is a sad answer for me, but I wouldn't. If I was at Walmart, I seen a preview, it was on their TV, and I went to buy the game, I don't think I would actually buy it. And that's
yeah,
sad
like
for me.
I remember being like in the 7th grade when Halo was being promoted, and it was a big deal. I mean, they needed it to be a big deal. They marketed it to be like the game that not only sells the Xbox but sells people on the Xbox continuity.
Yep.
If I go into a GameStop these days, and I see a lot of these games on the shelves, and most of them don't interest me because it's like, oh yeah, there's a warrior or a medieval or futuristic as a person. He's standing and he's putting his gun at something. It's like I kind of been there, done that, and
Yeah.
and it's the minor details in Halo that really make that game so special, like the interacting with the warthog and the gravity and the physics, especially in Halo 1. Just like the way to interact with that world is more elastic and more cartoony. They tone it down in like Halo 2, and I don't know what it's like afterwards, but a lot of that stuff is what made that game so much fun. It was really being able to play with the environment, and I understand that Halo Infinite is a lot like that too. I know there's a grappling hook in it now, so you do have a lot more agency over the environment. It's just that they don't need it to be a system seller anymore.
No.
Frankly, I think Call of Duty is a better system seller for the Xbox than Halo is, because I think even though Call of Duty is available on other systems, it really is like an Xbox game to me. The marketing for Call of Duty and the market for Xbox, I think the two go hand in hand and much better than it does on the PlayStation or even the computer for that matter. The short answer is no, probably not. I mean, and even if I had an Xbox, more like a maybe there. I don't know, and I also don't download the PSN games on principle, so I don't think I would even bother downloading it because I'm an investing kind of guy. Like I invest emotionally in things,
and you have to invest your time into it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna, and I'm kind of a slow learner. I'm pretty. It's like a bad curve. Like eventually, things get.
Curve.
But yeah, there's certain words and like you guys give me freedom, but there's certain words even I don't need to drop on this thing.
Okay.
But I don't care to like learn a new game all the time. I don't find that fun or exciting. For me, a game is really like a lifestyle choice, and it's a part of my who I am. And so I want my games to really feel like they've integrated into the rest of my life and not like this compartment where I escape from the rest of the world to play a game. My mind is too hyperactive for that. The rest of the world comes with me no matter where I go and what I do. Yeah, so yeah, short answer is no, probably not.
Now,
But I will say that there is one thing that, to be fair to it, which is that, when Nintendo released Breath of the Wild, it was the first Zelda game for a lot of people.
yeah,
And it's an open world game, and people loved it. They didn't have to have played a previous Zelda. People who did play a previous Zelda, they loved it as well. And so it was a pretty good deal for pretty much everybody. So I think you're still gonna get a good game if you get it. Like Halo Infinite is not a bad game. The one criticism I saw from the IGN review that I
Mhm.
thought was fair is that the topography doesn't change. So it's pretty much grass and cliffs for like the whole thing.
That
There's not
is-
like a snow area or a lava area. I thought that's
Okay.
kind of upsetting because like
well,
to
without
give people a grapple hook, you
Well-
would want different geography to play with. Okay, I'm done.
here's the thing with that, and you can keep going, but I would just want
I'm
to
done.
point out there, like, there's spoilers that I can say, like what's actually in the game that kind of helps your end, because IGN also wasn't trying to give too many spoilers out, but there are a little bit more. But as you said, it's pretty much, though, it's cliffs, rocks, trees. That's what you get. It gives you that Halo persona, and that's what you get. But once again, when it all said and done, though, if you never played Halo, never seen Halo, would you go out and play it? Now, I want to hear from Charles, the Halo Master Chief, like, man. If you've never touched Halo, never seen it, like, what about Halo would you see, and would you buy it? If not free, you had to buy it for $60. Would you do it?
I never played Halo before, and I'd be really lost because they added a bunch of Halo-related stuff into Destiny. I really liked a lot of that stuff, and I'd be like, if Bungie are the ones who made Halo, then and if this is in this game, and Destiny plays a lot like Halo, like I've always said, and it's also a lot like Borderlands in a way, but that's a different story. And I would probably I'd be probably tempted to try Halo, and I'd be trying to track down all the Halo games. And if I seen Infinite, and I would look up I'd probably look up videos on it, and I would see it, and I would probably want to play it.
Okay, so because of you sat there and you played games like Destiny and Borderlands. Like, if you saw Halo Reach and what it was, you'd be confused, but you would kind of have that interest going, I could try it. So, I mean, that's the better sign. I mean, because my issue with it is the trailers didn't sell. And in my opinion, like, the trailers did not sell you, this is a new game of 2021. This game's going to roll out 2022. Like, this game is going to be the dominant owner of it. Like, I didn't feel that with it versus Call of Duty. All the hype they released for it, they release trailers upon trailers upon trailers. They get you action. They tell you the story in there to get you wanting to play it. Halo, you had to play the other, and this is my opinion. This is not a professional opinion. This is my opinion. If you haven't played at least Halo 3, Halo 4, you would be so lost if you even looked at Halo Infinite. And it has nothing to do with me hating or loving Halo. It's me looking at as an outsider to a Halo game. I wouldn't play it, but because I love Halo so much, it was an easy no-brainer. I'm playing it, and I played all the Halos, so I understand. Me and Charles went through every Halo game together, and so I can now say I know what the storyline is. I get what the storyline. There's books on Halo too, so you can read the books. Charles is a big advocate about that. I think I said that word right. So I mean, it shows you there that Halo has a big lore, but if you don't know the lore, would you buy the game? Yeah, like if you're watching the audio podcast, there's books there. But if you've never seen the game or never played it, never read it, never did anything, would you play it? And I think
You know who would? That piece of garbage you give us a bad review probably would. He wouldn't think twice because he looks to us for news, so therefore he has bad judgment.
no, he probably wouldn't play Halo. He would probably still be playing Assassin's Creed or Midnight Club. You know, those failures.
And for those who are watching this on YouTube, that's also not just books. There's also DVD shit.
Yeah, there's DVDs that actually has to do with the lore of Halo. So
And there's also things like Halo Legends that's just a bunch of like little short things that
Yeah.
some tie into the lore and some like the freaking one with Spartan 1337, just freaking Dragon Ball Z references.
Exactly, but I think when it's all said and done, at least in my opinion, is that if you didn't have the hype of Halo what it is, if you were brand new off the streets with your PlayStation 4 because you can't find a 5, you wouldn't play Halo. You wouldn't even look back at it. You would be cool. I'm
What
out.
was this thing like a freaking?
It's just what it is.
What if this thing, a freaking Dark Horse freaking thing or whatever it is, freaking is still any good? Because it's been sitting in my copy of Halo Fall of Reach forever, and I never used it.
Let us know in the following podcast. I want to know if it's usable.
I think it speaks to how many voices are there on the market now.
Mhm.
Like, I know that like the G4 has been out for it's broadcasting, and if not for like the fact that we bring it up once in a while, I would have completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And when I was a youngster, G4 was kind of like the only voice on it.
Yep.
So yeah, like there's so many voices out there who are not just promoting the big tentpole games, but they're promoting lots of smaller games too, horror streams, lots of games that don't get a lot of attention. So the market share has changed drastically, and for that reason, people are like, oh, Halo, yeah, great, yeah, it's Halo. We're all no one's
Yeah.
mad, but there's like a million other things that deserve celebration.
Exactly, and this was the biggest point I wanted to come to when it came down to why I don't think Halo would get people off the street to buy it. Is I'm gonna pull up the idea of these games. Fall Guys. You look at Fall Guys, nothing similar to it, and people wanted to play it. People wanted to play the game. They bought it for $5, played the game. You have things like Among Us with no launches, no trailers, no nothing. They release, people want to play it because they see what it is. You have Phasmophobia, came out in the middle of quarantine. People played that so much to the point it was almost ranked one of the best games of 2020. So it shows you like, versus if you have Halo in that mix, it didn't look that way. It really didn't look that way.
There was a game called Gang based on watching Vanos and his friends play, where you're just playing as these like characters that were just on these stages where just beating the crap out of your opponents and trying to like toss them to like and these things like the trains in this one level that instant kill your opponents, and you have to be the last one standing in order to win.
Yeah.
What is one of the
Oh
games
yeah.
yeah.
Like,
You're
like your
little,
cartoon
like,
characters.
yeah.
So you're like, you almost look like the people who inhabit the signs on bathrooms, and you're just like,
yeah.
and then
you're
just
like,
helping each other. Yeah.
yeah.
There's another game Vanos and his buddies play where they're stick figures and they have to jump around and you can fight everybody else you're playing with.
Yeah.
You also can grab things like guns and shit that you can use to kill your opponents.
But like that's a good example. Like the games you're bringing up, like those games, it told you what it was. It told you what it was in the first 5 seconds. You see that game, you know what it is. Halo Infinite, it's not that same response. But if you're a big Halo fan, highly recommend the game. If you're not and you don't know anything about Halo, get Halo Master Chief Collection. If you have Game Pass, get it and try it out. If it's something you like, do it. If you have a friend that has Destiny, play Destiny. Like those are games to try to get you in the feel of Halo Infinite. But if you're new to Halo and don't know anything about it, I love you,
I got
Microsoft.
the lore channel.
What's that?
I got the lore channel if you don't know anything about Halo.
Yeah, I mean, just look into it. But I mean, that's just, we're not professionals here. Maybe the guy who thinks we're garbage might think otherwise. But, I appreciate he thinks we're professionals, so... good thing
That's
I wore a
true,
suit
yeah.
today. Good thing I wore a suit.
The bar was both
Only one
raised
ever wears
and
a
lowered.
suit, Jordan.
What, Charles?
You're the only one that ever wears a suit. Freaking you and your Agent 47, James Bond, freaking John
But
Wick.
you know what, though? I look good. Like, I look
You do,
pretty...
yeah. It's a good,
And this is
I
red.
like that. That's mahogany, right? It's like a
Mm-hmm.
like a purplish red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good look.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, Vindian from
it
the
stands
freaking
out
Pixar.
because your background has a lot of green. So yeah,
Yeah, I know how to style a little bit. But you know, we went off the rails a little bit. So I first want to real fast let everyone know this podcast is brought to you by Anchor. You probably, if you're listening in the audio realm, you probably already heard this ad, but I wanted to tell you guys, Anchor is an all-in-one place to get your podcast. If you are interested in starting a podcast, maybe you're like Charles and want to start a WWE podcast and want to talk about it. Maybe you want to be like Joseph and teach you guys how to do business, but you're like, I don't know where to start my podcast. You could download the Anchor app or go to the anchor.com or .org and start your podcast immediately. There's a couple of clicks, you can start your podcast. Just get an all right microphone, get your phone. It doesn't matter. Start your podcast. It's your all-in-one tool. It's what you need, and you get paid immediately. They immediately give you ad revenue for ads like this, like the Anchor ad. We appreciate them. They pay us immediately. As soon as someone listens to the podcast, guess what? That's a little ka-ching in our pocket, and we take it. We run with it because they ain't getting it back. So Anchor is your all-in-one shop, and if you're worried about distribution, they take care of that for you. Guys, we had issues. We couldn't get on Apple Podcasts. Of 5 days ago, we are officially back on Apple Podcasts. We are everywhere you can find your podcast listenings at. So they take care of everything for you. As long as you're not a screw-up like me, you can get it done. So guys, highly recommend go to anchor.fm or download the Anchor app. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. Now, guys,
and remember,
mentioned...
don't set sail without Anchor. That's good.
I'm
That's a good
stealing
one.
that next time. I'm stealing that next time.
Yeah, take it. That's a
And
good
the
one. I was like,
celebrate
okay,
their
I want to give a good one this time. Like, oh, that's pretty good.
Last time you made a joke, so I appreciate you bringing something solid.
And
Something
to celebrate
iron.
their back on Apple, we should freaking have a shotgun wedding.
Hide your kids, guys.
That's pistol.
Hide your kids. But I wanted to I brought up an all-timer segment last week. We guys, we're bringing it back again. I want to try to keep an all-timer segment or whatever. So last week,
You're not doing the Tesla story?
the what?
The Tesla thing?
You want to get into it now? Okay, so
I alluded to it. That's why.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry,
let me-
'cause I know all timers usually like the last segment we do. That's why.
You know
I
what?
had
You
to-
are correct. So let me just I just want to remind everyone, and if you want to play along in the comments, our all-timer segment is your all-timer biggest accomplishment, or your all-time biggest accomplishment, your biggest achievement in 2021. What is your all-time biggest achievement in 2021? You guys can leave them in the comment section down below, or tweet at us at SkullHunterPod. You know, we'll get back to you. See you guys' comments. Maybe you could be maybe you could be featured in a future podcast. Now, Joseph brought up something good. Guys, I'm going to read this right here. The NHTSA opens an investigation on Tesla for gaming while driving. So, the National Highway Transportation Safety Organization is opening an investigation into Tesla drivers able to play video games via dashboard while driving. According to recent reports in New York Times, Tesla vehicles are currently allowed video games to be played while driving the motor vehicle via dashboard. So, Tesla is getting an investigation opened up. I'm just pretty much summarizing what this says. It's a long article. We'll leave it down in the description below. It's a long article, but Tesla is getting an investigation opened up on them because people has reported, and this is not digital, people are reporting seeing drivers playing on their dashboard. And if you don't know what Tesla is with their dashboard, it's a huge 19 by 6 tablet in the center console, and it has games on it. They have their own little portal, and you can play games on it. I think you can get a form of Mario Kart on there. You can get different things like Pop It and all kinds of games on there. So this is being reported by the National Highway Transportation Safety Organization. So what do you guys think about the fact that people are playing video games? 100% people are playing video games going down the road. How do you
Literally
guys
playing fucking
feeling?
Halo.
How do you guys feel about being on the road with that?
Charles?
They better be freaking playing Halo first off, but freaking Tesla, it's like they're freaking trying to make their cars like freaking Transformers. Those cars from iRobots that can drive themselves.
It's been a while since I've done this, but I think it's apt for the officer goes up to the guy rolls down his window and say, "Do you realize how fast you're going?" "No, because I was too busy playing Raid Shadow Legends."
Oh, if Arf was here, he could maybe do a little saucy spotzer. But we already seen this complaint with different people outside of Tesla's industry complaining that people watching Netflix and Hulu while going down the road, where Tesla had to make an announcement pretty much stating that don't be watching stuff going down the road. But we see in transportation, in the trucking transportation world, the whole way down to our motor vehicles, that they have tablets in the vehicles. They have the apps downloaded on there that lets you watch stuff over the road. The reason is it's supposed to help keep your focus and stay awake. How is that supposed to work? You're watching a show going down the road to keep your focus on the road. Now, this is something that's in the trucking transportation. So that means there are people right now who are driving rigs going down the road with a tablet beside them, watching Netflix going down the road. And it's 100% legal for truckers to do that, along with their attentions on the road. I don't see how that makes sense. Because these guys... It makes no sense. And my family is firm-wheel truck drivers, and I can vouch for this. I can have Brittany take photo proof of this. They literally have a tablet with Netflix and Hulu and YouTube right next to them because they're treated like a radio, is how they want you to see it as, is a radio. You put the radio on, you leave it be. Don't pay attention to it. Control it on your steering wheel. That's it. But I don't know how I feel about people being caught playing. Like, I'm just imagining someone put on autopilot and now playing Need for Speed going down the road. Just to know, imagine being at a red light and a grandma sitting beside you. You look over and just this guy, like, I just don't know how to
Horizon.
Oh
God, that would be terrible.
Or the guy's playing Grand Theft Auto and he stole the car that he's driving, and so he's playing him driving the car while he's also driving the car at the same time. Yeah, so it's nothing new, right?
Yeah.
As long as there's been vehicular transportation, there's been distractions.
Pokemon Go was a big one.
It speaks to the way life starts to become like a pattern. I mean, really, that was the origin of autopilot.
Yeah.
Right. If maybe actually, I guess it might have been airplanes, but yeah. So
Still working on
I mean,
it.
I've had. Sorry, I was thinking. I've had. I have friends, very good drivers, but they're looking at their phone. The muscle memory has built up so much that they can start multitasking. And I'm trusting these people with my life because it's really the only option that I have. So I mean, I'm never going to support it. I understand that they're on the road for hours and hours, days and days, and and there's only so much NPR that a person can listen to, so they need to and also too, what are they looking at? Road, and they probably know in advance, I think, to some degree, how long this road is going to be for, when am I going to encounter a stoplight, and there was a real lack of personal connection. And so, all they had for a while was just CB radios, just to talk to one another. So I can understand wanting to watch TV shows just so they can see other human beings for those long stretches, those long lonely stretches. So I don't blame them whatsoever. But I think we all know, it's already a calculated risk to drive a truck. You take an additional risk to watch something. And then on the Tesla side is the same thing. Like, you're already taking a risk. You're taking a greater risk. The problem is, this is now a risk that's going to cause somebody else harm, and you can get into an accident that could ruin somebody else's life, who may be doing the right thing, maybe not. We don't know, but that's not the point. The point is, if your actions are putting other people at risk, I totally support whatever measures that the law enforcement takes to clamp down on that, because now you're putting other people at risk.
Yeah, definitely. And I know for the situation of like I did bring up the fact that the truck driver is doing it, but I brought that up mostly for the clickbait side of it because I do understand why they do it. And this is the reason that I've quite understood with being in the trucking field for over 4, 6 years now is that when you're out there and when you're in the truck, it's not even about watching something on your phone or watching any of that. It's about having something else there to help your mind not lose focus. Like, when you're sitting down staring at something and you just start drifting off, it happens on the road, especially when you're driving at night, dark roads, single lines, it gets you in that field where you're just like, you start like kind of zoning out. And that's
It
even
can be
more
kind of
dangerous.
hypnotizing, I think.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
especially when you go on to the pattern lines and stuff like that. It gets hypnotizing and it makes you lose focus. So having something like a radio does help. But as we all know, we get into those areas. Radios are you should might as well be on your phone because you're trying to sit there and turn knobs and stuff like that, just trying to get something to load up. Versus having something downloaded on Netflix, documentaries to watching Stranger Things or Squid Games. Wink, wink. You could sit there and have that on beside you, glance over from time to time. I mean, you're checking your mirrors anyways, take a little peek, and it helps keep your focus. It helps keeps you awake because your brain has something to understand. You have something to understand. You're seeing people, and that's a big deal. Now, with people driving Teslas going down the road, I don't feel like they have that issue as much, but I think it's kind of that role of, well, if I'm smart about it or if I'm a little bit cautious about it, because I hate to say we have huge populations who text and drive. It doesn't. No matter what we do, there's a huge population that will text and drive. I've been caught. I've caught so many people doing it. I mean, it's just
To their
what
credit,
happens.
and again, there's not a heck of a lot of credit to go around because it's endangering other people.
Mm-hmm.
But at least with texting and driving, it's like multitasking.
Yeah,
If somebody's that busy and they need to send messages while they're on the commute, okay. People can be in that situation. Life can be stressful. Sometimes you just need to make the most out of your trip, which is why, and this was the reason why I wanted to make sure we talk about the Tesla thing that I was alluding to earlier, is I can't wait until these cars drive themselves. Then my girlfriend and I can look into getting one because neither of us are like have proper vision. So either they put a car with a wheel in the center of the car, and the two of us can work together to drive it, or self-driving cars.
I love the idea of that. I love the idea that one hand's on the wheel over here, your foot's like hovering the brake, she's over there holding the other one, foot's on the gas pedal. You sneeze, you slam on the brakes. Like, that would be a fun one to
My
see.
vision was just like both of us have our hands on like a giant steering wheel, and we're both like working in tandem to
I just like to think of that car that Will Smith drove in iRobot.
Ooh. I mean, here soon we might end up having that. But zone back in on the Tesla side. I mean, the upside is more than like, if I'm not mistaken, the Tesla you can only play the games if it's on autopilot. I don't own a Tesla. I would want one. Wink, Elon Musk. I would love one. But when it's all said and done, if it's on autopilot, it's already doing its job. You're already not, air quote, not supposed to do it right now. But if it's on autopilot, you're going down the road, no one cares. Get some Need for Speed on. Get some GTA. Get the new Halo. Like, if that's what you do to buy the time, do it. Do some karaoke. Make some TikToks. Like, if I'm not supporting like texting, driving, doing all this stuff, but if the car's driving itself, I don't care. If we think it's safe, go ahead. Like, once they get this technology down, our Ubers will be Teslas. They will be driving themselves, and I'm going to try to steal one in the future. Just be prepared, Elon Musk. I will try to steal a Tesla from you. This is the proof to use. Go ahead, Charles.
Cruise control kind of like autopilot.
Cruise control is not like autopilot. So cruise control, the only thing it does, it helps keep your steering kind of even, and then it keeps your speed. It keeps your speed speedometer there.
Yeah, because if you're going for a long stretch, you don't need to have your foot on the pedal.
Yeah,
just
so
to go like one speed for like 20 minutes. So you just flick on cruise control, and the car just does it for you.
Yeah, it does the speed. And then a lot of newer cars now have AirPilot or whatever that was called. Yeah, I think it's Aeropilot or whatever it's called, where it would actually track the cars have sensors on them, and so what they would do is they would track the yellow line, they would track the white line, and they'll keep you centered in those lines. So when you're going down straight stretches, but as we know, those did not make it out well, and now we have self-driving cars that have a camera somehow see all the directions around our car and can understand what it's doing. There was a meme that went out there. I'm not trying to lose topic, but there was a meme out
what
there.
are you, me?
I'm trying to be. I want to be a Joseph. So there was a meme that showed a guy in a Tesla. He's like, man, it shows like a trash can on his dashboard. He's like, man, dude, there's a piece of trash on the side of me. He goes up and it's a Honda. And I'm like, oh, burn. I think it was a Toyota, but no matter what, it was one of those air quote self-driving cars. And I was like, oh, burn, burn. If that's a feature, Tesla is great, but. Charles, I don't think we've really got your opinions on how you feel about people playing video games while going down the road.
I just think it'd be kind of cool, and yet I do get that it'd be dangerous. But personally, I wouldn't be playing video games. I'd be listening to music while I'd be driving down the road and everything because I like listening to music.
So do I. I like getting into some karaoke, especially when some AC/DC comes on. Brittany wants to. She wish she had those ejector buttons.
I'd be that dude that'd be pulled up to a headline thinking if one of my favorite songs, especially if it's Disturbed, is on, and somebody looks up, they'd see me freaking headbanging like freaking crazy.
I would just
and
love to see
hair for it like James does.
You start growing it out, man. Start growing out. You can get there one day. You can get there.
I don't want to have to wear a hairnet at work.
You know what? That's understandable. I was supposed to. This is how bad my gas station was we worked at. I was supposed to, and I didn't. And I quit. So, you know what? They didn't get the chance to fire me. I quit so I can, as Chad would say, so I could take head of security at Amazon and make $30-something an hour is what he says. That's not true at all. Amazon. I now am homeless. This is our green screen. I'm in a car. I'm in a Tesla. I would prove it, but
so you're homeless, but you were able to get a Tesla.
Yeah, I'm not good with financing.
Like he chose a car over getting his own place.
Actually, when it's all said and done, I would buy a box truck and just live in a box truck. I wanted to do that for a while I was growing up. I was like, I just buy a box truck and live in the back of a box truck. Now I found out you legally cannot do that. So I was like, oh, cool. But a van.
I was thinking sheds from like one of those places that sell like farm stuff. They sell like sheds because then you can convert that into like a small house. Because I've apparently heard people can do that.
You can. The issue with that is and then you have either rent that you have to pay on a RV spot so you can get electricity, or you have to buy a property so you can put it somewhere. That's the issue a lot of people don't think about is, oh, cool, I'll just buy one of these and live in. Like, I thought about doing that as a kid. I was like, yeah. I didn't think, how do I get a toilet? Like, I'm just gonna have to go shitting in the woods if I lived in the woods at that time. Like, that's what just have to be what happens. I'll just have to be pooping in buckets and peeing in cups. I mean, and don't even ask me how I'll do the dishes. I wouldn't know.
I'd like to get one of those RVs that you can drive that has a bed, it has a freaking shower, and has usually in certain cases has a spot where you can put like a TV and stuff in, and you can have like a router in it and stuff.
See, when I go to Alaska, I want to take me and my family up to Alaska. And when we do, I want to just get one of those big like RVs that has all the utilities and stuff. I feel like that'd be great. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else to say about the Tesla, the national? Let me just relook at it so I don't mess it up. Anyone else have anything to say about the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration doing an investigation on Tesla drivers for playing video games?
Yeah, that guy who thinks we suck. I want you to be a distracted driver, and I want you to fucking die.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I was gonna say, freaking.
I don't even care if you take people with you. Collateral damage. You're scum. Get out of this planet, piece of garbage.
Wow.
I thought Charles was the psycho, guys. Hide your kids from Joseph. Oh my god.
I was just gonna say those people that are freaking investigating Tesla are gonna be screwed if we ever have vehicles that are like freaking Transformers.
Dude, at that point, the Highway Transportation Organization.
Yeah, those investigators are like, yeah, they'll be screwed, and so will like everybody else. On
Yeah, it
on
would
the
be like
planet,
it
too.
wouldn't even just be the investigator. What are the cars gonna do? Pull out a Glock, being like, yeah, like no, it's gonna be cool if we have robots that are like Transformers.
At least with Transformers, it's like a 50-50. Like maybe they're the good guys, maybe they're the bad
Maybe we'll
guys.
They'll be
get
pulling out
Bumblebee.
big guns
Maybe
and a
you
fucking Glock, that's for sure. They'll be fucking pulling out freaking real guns and shit.
A Glock is a real gun. I know what you're talking about though with the Transformers. Like they have like ray guns and X-ray vision and
And they
bullshit.
got freaking miniguns and Hound's case.
Yeah. So I mean, I get what you're coming from, but no. As always, we're joking. We're joking. We don't want anyone to die. But the hater, you can definitely step on some Legos with some
Yeah.
wet socks. But speaking of accomplishments that hopefully our hater is able to do, guys, I want to know your all-time greatest achievement of 2021. And I know it's not the end of the year yet. I already have another good one for next week episode. So I want to hear you guys' biggest achievement in the year 2021. We'll start with you, Joseph.
I've said I think I talked about it with you guys when we kind of like started up season 2. My biggest achievement is when I went to Niagara Falls on my own, well, with my girlfriend. And I know I'm like repeating myself here because I know I talked about this before, but whatever. So, I only ever got to Niagara Falls either with my family or when I was in the car with some friends. And so to me, it always seemed inaccessible because I don't drive. How am I going to get there? It took 3 hours on with like 3 different modes of transportation. Actually, it might have been 4, counting the subway ride to our station to get on the train, to get on the other train, to get on the bus. But we got there. And I remember I was looking out over into the falls, and those were the same falls that used to be so intimidating when I was a kid. They're still majestic and awe-inspiring, but it was just so much more accessible, and it felt like I'm actually starting to come more to grips with my own agency in the world. And I was trying to share the video with you guys last time, and I screwed it up. I'm gonna try it again this time. This was like a message I made for you guys when I got there. So hopefully I don't spike the audio. Like I
Want
did
to know
with
what
my
really would have been
lightsaber.
brave if you, Joseph? Is if you decided to get into a barrel and wrote.
I'm here at Niagara Falls, and I'm here to tell you about Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, so there's this great champion that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna fight the boss with, and the boss takes a lot of damage.
I knew there was a reason why I screwed it up the first time. That was a lie. I didn't know, but I do now.
You should have figured. If I was you, I would have been. If I wanted to be ballsy and probably commit suicide, thinking I would have tried riding a barrel down to Niagara Falls and see if I would survive. Apparently, that was a thing people used to do.
I'm going to
Yeah,
say
they
your
don't do
chance
that
of
anymore.
survival is not there. I have a hunch. I have a strong hunch. But I mean, I get it. Try to sit there and be brave and do that. So that's your biggest achievement of 2021. So that's awesome. Charles, what is your biggest achievement of 2021?
Making the 100 subs go on YouTube that I freaking set for myself.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah!
Hell
The
yeah.
fact that I have 111 subs last I checked. And by the way, John, that picture you showed on my channel, freaking the Call of Duty video was freaking like a couple of subs behind because when you took that picture, I was at 107. At the time when you posted the video, I was at 109. Just saying.
Yeah, so just in a couple of days, you gained a few subs. So nice.
But, the fact that I freaking have over 100 subs just doing freaking things how I choose to do it as far as the YouTube thing goes, and the whole reason why I even started the freaking channel in the begin with is because it was for shits and giggles, and I want to see if I could actually gain a following on YouTube just uploading whatever the hell I felt like and doing whatever the heck I felt like with it. And all
And
the
it
freaking videos
encourages
I've
you
done,
to do more of what you enjoy doing. 'Cause
yeah,
people resonate with it.
all the videos I've done since then, including the ones I deleted because I was afraid of that copper bullshit that I regret deleting now, especially the one that had almost 3 K views on it. Freaking, and a couple of live streams that I've done that are wrestling related. I'm just happy with how my YouTube channel has gone. And hopefully by this time next year, I've hit 200 subs. Hopefully.
That's awesome. Well, if you keep up the grind, I mean, definitely think you'll get it, especially if you do some videos about Bungie's update with the Halo weapons. Dude, I guarantee.
Most of my last few videos, including when I posted today, that I had scheduled, have to do with the Halo weapons in Destiny.
Nice. Now, quick question: are you doing them in the shorts format where it's 9:16, or are you doing it by 16:9?
I don't. They're just like, for the most part, they're just full-length videos that at least between 8 or 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So they're actually full-length videos. Okay, nice. I can't wait to check on them in a week and see if you get any clout for them. Any clout. And so that was Charles's biggest achievement of 2021. Now mine, honestly, I'm thinking about this on the fly because I more care about other people and their big successes because it's a good I'm glad to see other people making it. So I gotta honestly say, like, and it's a weird one, but for what I was able to come up with, my biggest success of 2021 has literally been myself. It's been putting in the work, putting in the grind. I've been stuck at 2,222 subscribers for over 2 years. I've pretty much been stuck there. Yes, I've gained a few, but I've been stuck there. And because I put the work and put the time and put the effort in, I've been able to actually get past that. And I've gained over 30 subscribers in a short time period. Like, you have the whole entire year. I gained them in October to now. I put in the effort and I made a TikTok, and the TikTok went from 0 to over 160 at the time of recording this, with several viral videos on there. So I went from 0 to over 100 on there. Facebook, with only having it for 2 years now, I've gotten 600 followers, and I actually had to fill out a W-9 for Facebook. And that was a big deal for me because that means I made over $500 on Facebook from just streaming. That wasn't no sponsorships, that was nothing. And it was all in 1 year, during pandemics, during crisis, during family being in hospital. So my biggest accomplishment has just been myself. Been able to put the time, put the effort, put the work in, and seeing it pay off. So my biggest accomplishment of 2021 is literally myself, because
I think with all of us, that's really been the theme across all three of our achievements. Has been, we're forced to be more self-reflective and work more on ourselves. So that manifested in different ways. Charles is being he's getting validated for doing what he enjoys doing, by finding more followers for it. I'm getting validation by realizing I have more control over my life, control I did not have when I was younger.
Yeah.
And same with you. You've been working hard in a lot of different areas, and in your Facebook, on your YouTube, and you're seeing tangible progress in all of these. And the only way for there to be progress across all of your formats is if the connecting factor to them was improved, and the commonality is you.
Yeah, and with that note also being said, I mean, like, last year during the pandemic, I was able to do the streaming. I didn't do the streaming until the pandemic hit, and that was a great success for me. So that was a big deal, and that's got me my sponsorships and things like that. So, and then last year it was the same thing. It was like I improved it myself, but 2019, that was the year that I explored the country. Like, I've been to over 40 states in the country. So I was like, that was a big deal for me because I've been there and I've done a lot of things. So exploring and let myself know, hey, I think at that point I was 20. So I was like, I just turned 20. This is my time. I gotta explore. I gotta actually get out of comfort zones. And like this year too, I've also fought my fear of heights. I'm no joke. I could not be higher than 5 feet off the ground before I would panic, go in an actual panic. And I was able to walk over 100, like a 57-foot, not 157, but a 57-foot drop bridge and I was able to walk across it, wooden panels the whole way across. I was able to do it. I was able to climb on top of one of the castles in Kansas. I was able to do it and stand at the top, lean over the edge, and to so many other things. So there's a lot of accomplishments, but like you said, it all involves around like you as a person. Like you did so much, and Charles did so much, and the architect, also known as James, obviously, he's done so much to the point where like James bought a house. Like James bought a house this year. Like that's a big accomplishment. He started the podcast last year, and I mean, look where it's at today. We have over 600. We have over 600 listeners throughout our whole entire media source. So that's huge. So I mean, we all just, as long as we keep grinding and keep putting the time and efforts into what we do, every year our biggest accomplishments are gonna be ourselves. So I think that deserves a big round of applause, except for the hater. Fuck you. But yeah.
By the way, I just remembered that. Did you ever freaking get to finish that whole freaking thing with the Halo 2 Legendary thing that you were supposed to do after we beat it?
Oh, that thing that's still trapped on that computer because it won't turn on? Yes, I did not finish that. And it's still on that computer.
I'm still freaking mad at Facebook for deleting a lot of the streams that you did on Facebook that was freaking fun. Because especially like when we went to Halo 5, freaking when we played like Borderlands and shit, and a lot of our Halo and a lot of the Call of Duty ones that I liked are freaking on Facebook. And freaking like Twitch, freaking Facebook delete them. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I still don't know why they ended up doing that. That was a big disappointment. But at least, luckily though, with us doing the podcast, we will never have our podcast deleted unless if we do it. But speaking of our podcast, we are at the wrapping point. So we're going to go ahead and be sellouts here. So we're going to start with the biggest sellout of all. Joseph, go ahead and tell us where people can find you.
Statistically speaking, you're not wrong. Son of a bitch.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on giantenemycompany.com. That'll give you a sense of my layout, what I do, what I'm up to. You can see my premiere podcast. I work with Debutify. It is Ecomonics. That is ECOMONICS. Type that into Google. Google will tell you, "Are you sure you didn't mean the other way?" You tell them no, and then go use a different search engine because Google kind of sucks. Well, I mean, functionally it's great, but the people who run it kind of suck.
You're not wrong about that. And what about your personal life? Where can people find that? Giant Enemy Company.
I said that.
You did?
I did.
Oh. Let's move over to the other sellout. Hey, Charles, where can people find you?
If you guys want to like watching somebody either freaking ranting about wrestling or NASCAR related crap and freaking uploading somewhat professionally looking edited videos of do certain video games and just little clips that I posted that I'm surprised people even watch at times. Freaking, I wonder if anybody watches and thinks I'm actually good, a pro at these freaking shit when I'm not. Not to disrespect. You can just subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is slowly growing. Freaking CJ the Lone Wolf. And yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And so we have a couple shout outs here. We have our podcast. We are everywhere you can listen to your podcasts at, where you can listen to Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's wherever you get your podcasts from. And we're in the video world. We're on Facebook and YouTube. And that's where you can find the podcast. We have The Architect, who is on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it's just spelled out the way it is. We'll link that in the description down below with everyone else's platforms. If you want to find me, Skull Hunter Games on YouTube. That is the best place you can find me. And all my links will be connected to my YouTube page. So, yeah, all in one place. Just go to my YouTube, Skull Hunter Games. You can find everything you need there. And, boys, we did another successful podcast. Without Daddy, you don't need no milk. Charles, sell us out.